I can't watch you struggle anymore, which is why I'm showing you what was hidden. Within the hidden secret lies a truth that changes the way you see effort, lack, and everything holding you back. Learn it quietly, and don't tell this to anyone, because some knowledge was never meant to spread. The Hidden Secret. Introduction. The universe whispers an ancient truth through every breath you take. You are not a passive observer, but an active creator of your reality. Your thoughts are not mere fleeting mental events, but powerful vibrations that shape the very fabric of your existence. Each moment presents a choice: to remember your inherent creative power or to continue believing in limitation. When you align your inner emotional landscape with the frequency of your deepest desires, something miraculous occurs. The external world begins to reshape itself, not as a coincidence, but as a precise reflection of your internal state. Your beliefs are not just thoughts. They are blueprints that the universe constructs into tangible experience. The law of attraction is not a mystical concept reserved for the few, but a universal principle as fundamental as gravity. Just as a magnet attracts metal, your consciousness attracts experiences that match its dominant vibration. Fear attracts uncertainty. Love attracts abundance. Doubt attracts struggle. Certainty attracts manifestation. Your imagination is not a playground of idle fantasy, but a sacred workshop where reality is crafted. Every feeling you nurture, every belief you hold, sends ripples through the quantum field. The universe does not judge these ripples. It merely responds with unwavering precision, bringing forth experiences that resonate with your internal frequency. To master this principle is to understand that you are never a victim. You are always the architect, the artist, the creator. Your pain, your joy, your challenges, and your triumphs are not random. They are signals you've been broadcasting, now returning to you as lived experience. The invitation is simple. Listen to your inner tone. Align your emotions with what you truly desire. Trust in the unseen machinery of creation that responds to your most intimate vibrations. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Awakening Within. Chapter 1. The Seed of Remembering. In the quiet moments between hope and doubt, you stand at the threshold of transformation. The universe speaks a language beyond words, a language of vibration, of subtle energies that dance between thought and manifestation. Clara Whitmore's garden became a living testament to the invisible forces that shape reality. With trembling hands, she planted a single seed, her whispers carrying more uncertainty than conviction. Each drop of water seemed weighted with hesitation, yet something deeper stirred within her, a fragile hope that defied her conscious doubts. Day after day, Clara tended the garden. Her care was not a grand gesture, but a quiet commitment. What she did not yet understand was the profound alchemy occurring beneath the soil of her intention. Every nurturing touch, every moment of gentle attention was transforming her inner landscape. Intention is not a forceful demand, but a delicate cultivation. Like a seed requiring consistent care, your desires need emotional nourishment. The universe responds not to desperate grasping, but to the steady, unwavering frequency of belief. Across town, Everett Lang carried a different story. Years of disappointment had carved bitterness into his spirit, creating a landscape where hope struggled to take root. But something shifted when he made a radical choice: to express gratitude before receiving anything. His gratitude was not performance, but a genuine reorientation of his inner state. He began thanking the universe for opportunities not yet visible, for blessings still forming in the unseen realms. Within weeks, the impossible began happening. Synchronicities emerged. Doors previously closed now opened with unexpected ease. Everett's transformation revealed a fundamental truth. Expectation magnetizes evidence of its own truth. Your inner narrative is a powerful transmitter, constantly signaling to the universe what you believe is possible. The law of attraction operates through resonance, not demand. It is a gentle mirroring, a responsive intelligence that reflects your most consistent emotional frequencies back into physical experience. Practice. Imagine something small that you desire. Speak gratitude for it as though it has arrived, feeling quiet joy without questioning how or when it manifests. Absorb the feeling, breathe, and release it into trust. Stay faithful to the vibration of completion for the rest of the day, knowing the mirror must soon reflect it back. Chapter 2. Mirrors do not lie. You stand at the crossroads of transformation, where every reflection holds a deeper wisdom waiting to be understood. The universe speaks through the landscapes of your experience, whispering ancient truths that have been waiting for your awakening. Nora Bennett's journey mirrors your own inner landscape. When she gazed into that cracked hallway mirror, she understood something profound. The fractures were not flaws to be hidden, but messages to be decoded. Each line, each imperfection was a map pointing toward your inner healing. The universal law reveals itself through such moments of clarity. Your external world is not a battlefield of random circumstances, but a precise projection of your internal state. Every challenge, every relationship, every seemingly random event carries a frequency you have unconsciously broadcast. Consider Edwin Cole's transformation. His refusal to forgive had created a dense energetic wall, blocking the very opportunities he secretly desired. When he finally released his resentment, when compassion replaced bitterness, the universe responded immediately. Doors opened, connections emerged. His inner shift rewrote his entire reality. This is the hidden teaching. Your inner state is the true creator. Outer circumstances are not punishments, but educational reflections designed to guide you toward alignment. The universe does not judge. It responds. It mirrors. It teaches. Your emotions are not random. They are powerful transmitters, broadcasting signals that the cosmic intelligence interprets and manifests. Every feeling, every thought, carries a vibration that attracts corresponding experiences. The practice awaiting you is a sacred ritual of transformation. Find a quiet space where you can be alone with your reflection. Look deeply into the mirror, not at your physical form, but through it, into the essence of your current challenge. Take a quiet moment and view your current challenge as a mirror. Ask yourself what emotion it reflects. Then gently shift your focus toward gratitude for the lesson and imagine the improved reflection appearing in that very same mirror. You are never punished by the universe, only educated by it. Chapter 3. The Listener Within. In the silent chambers of your inner world, communication transcends words, flowing through the subtle currents of emotion and intention. You are not separate from the universal intelligence that permeates all existence. You are its living expression, its most intimate channel of creation. Hazel Rowe once believed prayer was a demand shouted into an indifferent void. Her supplications felt like whispers against stone, unheard and unreturned. Yet something within her knew differently. The universe does not respond to volume, but to vibration. Your truest communication happens not through loud proclamations, but through the quiet resonance of your heart's authentic feeling. When Hazel learned to listen beneath her anxious thoughts, she discovered a gentle wisdom already speaking. Her intuition was not an external voice, but an internal knowing, a soft current of understanding that had always been present, waiting for her to become still enough to hear its guidance. Simultaneously, Silas Avery's journey revealed another layer of universal communication. After losing his job, he might have descended into panic. Instead, he chose surrender. Driving through rain-streaked streets, he repeated words of acceptance, not as desperate pleas, but as calm acknowledgments of life's unfolding mystery. His emotional shift was subtle, yet profound. By releasing resistance and opening to possibility, Silas transformed his energetic broadcast. The universe, always listening, immediately began orchestrating opportunities aligned with his newfound receptivity. This is the hidden secret of communication with the greater intelligence that surrounds and moves through you. Stillness speaks louder than struggle. Your emotions are the language through which the cosmos understands your deepest intentions. When you quiet your mind and trust your inner guidance, you become a clear channel for miraculous alignment. Practice. Sit in silence, let thought slow, breathe gratitude for simply existing. Feel guidance as a whisper beneath the heart, rather than a thunderous voice above the clouds. Trust that your calm knowing attracts every answer before you ask. Chapter 4. The Game of Frequency. You inhabit a universe of vibration where every thought and emotion rings out like an invisible musical note. Your inner landscape is not just a private experience, but a broadcasting station that attracts corresponding experiences with unerring precision. Just as Millie Crane discovered, your moods are not mere internal states, but powerful frequencies that shape the world around you. Each emotional tone you emit creates ripples through the invisible fabric of reality, calling forth experiences that match its essence. Imagine your consciousness as a sophisticated radio receiver. Your thoughts and feelings are the dial, and the universe is an infinite spectrum of potential stations. When you consistently tune to a particular emotional frequency, be it joy, gratitude, or expectation, you begin to attract experiences that resonate with that specific vibration. The universal law governing this principle is elegant in its simplicity, like attracts like. Your inner state is not separate from your outer experience, but its direct creator. Every moment offers you the opportunity to consciously choose your emotional broadcast, understanding that what you emit, you inevitably become. Henry Dale's story illuminates this principle beautifully. After years of dwelling in pessimism, he made a radical choice to pretend happiness, even if just for an afternoon. This seemingly small shift was actually a profound recalibration of his energetic frequency. By choosing a different emotional tone, he began to broadcast a new signal to the universe. The results were immediate and magical. A stranger's unexpected smile, an old debt mysteriously forgiven. These were not coincidences, but direct reflections of his internal transformation. His pretense of happiness became a genuine vibration, and reality swiftly rearranged itself to match his new emotional landscape. Your power lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering your internal state. Each emotion is a creative force, each thought a brushstroke on the canvas of your reality. The universe responds not to your words, but to the underlying feeling behind those words. Practice. Begin each morning humming softly or thinking kindly. Tune your mood intentionally for even 5 minutes. Then notice which people and events harmonize with your new song. What you emit, you become. Chapter 5. The Illusion of Waiting. In the intricate dance of creation, you are both the musician and the instrument, the painter and the canvas. Your frequency determines the melody of your existence, the colors of your reality. Consider Vera Malone, who believed joy was a destination to be earned, not a state to be inhabited. Vera had constructed an elaborate fortress of postponement. Success, she thought, was a distant land that required arduous travel, a journey marked by sacrifice and delayed gratitude. Each morning she would survey her current landscape and declare, "Not yet, not good enough." Her inner dialogue became a relentless critique, a constant reminder of what was lacking. But the universe does not comprehend waiting. It only understands vibration. When you emit a frequency of scarcity, of perpetual incompleteness, the cosmic mirror reflects precisely that, an endless state of becoming without arrival. Contrast Vera's approach with Floyd Harper, a man who understood the subtle art of energetic alignment. Floyd did not wait for success to validate his confidence. Instead, he wore success like a tailored suit, moving through the world with an inherent knowing that his desires were already manifest. When Floyd spoke about his business, he used present-tense language. "We are expanding," he would say, not "we hope to expand." His conversations carried the weight of certainty, his actions radiating an unshakable belief. He didn't dream of prosperity. He lived it. The universal law whispers a fundamental truth. Your inner state creates your outer world. Waiting implies a fundamental separation between you and your desires. But alignment means knowing that the boundary between what you want and what you have is an illusion of the mind. Your frequency is not determined by external circumstances, but by the quality of your internal broadcast. Just as a radio attracts specific signals based on its tuning, your emotional state magnetizes corresponding experiences. Floyd's confidence wasn't naive optimism, but a profound understanding that belief precedes manifestation. He knew that opportunity doesn't arrive. It is summoned by the energy you consistently emit. The game of frequency is not about forcing outcomes, but about harmonizing your inner landscape with the reality you wish to experience. It requires trust, a willingness to feel complete before completeness appears visible. Practice. Instead of waiting, feel completion now. Smile as though your dream already lives within today's air. Treat the moment as final, not preliminary. The dance of creation starts and ends in belief. Chapter 6. The Gentle Reversal. You stand at the edge of a profound understanding. The illusion of control is a veil that obscures your true power. The universe does not respond to force, but to the gentle surrender of trust. Evelyn Bright's journey mirrors the path many travelers walk. For years, she believed success was a battle to be won through relentless effort. Her days became a marathon of pushing, straining, manipulating, each action driven by a desperate need to make things happen. She worked longer hours, created elaborate plans, and fought against the natural rhythm of life, believing that her will alone could bend reality to her design. But the universe operates on a different principle. Control is an illusion that blocks the very flow you seek to create. When Evelyn finally exhausted herself, when her strategies crumbled and her strength failed, something miraculous occurred. In that moment of complete surrender, she discovered a profound truth. Life moves most elegantly when you stop wrestling with its current. Leonard Pierce understood this wisdom differently. He had spent decades meticulously planning every aspect of his life, believing that careful calculation would guarantee success. Spreadsheets, timelines, contingency plans, these were his armor against uncertainty. Yet the more he planned, the more frustrated he became when reality refused to follow his script. Then came the moment of revelation. Leonard released his grip on control. He stopped trying to choreograph every detail and instead began to trust the unfolding of events. Suddenly, opportunities emerged effortlessly. Connections formed without his manipulation. Projects that once felt like uphill battles now glided forward with surprising ease. This is the hidden language of the universe. It responds to your vibration of trust, not your attempts to force outcome. Your energy matters more than your strategies. When you align with the natural flow, life begins to move through you rather than against you. The great wisdom lies in understanding that you are not separate from the universal intelligence. You are a part of it. Your job is not to control, but to listen, not to demand, but to allow, not to struggle, but to trust. When tension rises, imagine floating downstream instead of paddling upstream. Say inwardly, I choose ease now. Let relief shift your signal from worry to trust, opening invisible currents toward effortless alignment. Chapter 7. The Currency of Emotion. The universe speaks in the language of emotion, whispering truths that transcend mere thought. You are not simply a passive observer of life, but an active composer of its melody, conducting symphonies through the vibrations of your inner landscape. Mabel Yates understood this sacred principle long before most. Where others saw financial strategies and calculated investments, she recognized emotion as the true currency of creation. Her gratitude was not a polite gesture, but a powerful frequency that magnetized abundance. She knew that feelings were not mere reactions, but active generators of reality. When Mabel felt genuine appreciation, she noticed how the world around her seemed to lean in closer, listening. Her thankfulness grew like compound interest, multiplying opportunities where others saw only limitations. Each moment of sincere gratitude became a seed planted in the fertile ground of possibility, sprouting unexpected harvests. Nearby, Archie Vaughan walked a similar path. He discovered that joy was not a destination to be reached, but a devotional practice to be lived. His relationships transformed not through strategic maneuvering, but through the pure radiance of his inner state. Where he once sought connection through effort, he now emanated warmth that naturally drew others toward him. The universal truth revealed itself through their experiences. Your inner richness determines your outer landscape. Emotions are not passive experiences, but active creators. They are the brush strokes that paint your reality, the whispers that shape your world. Your feelings are not random occurrences, but intentional broadcasts. Each emotion sends a signal into the vast network of universal intelligence, calling forth matching experiences. Gratitude attracts abundance. Joy magnetizes connection. Peace harmonizes circumstances. The secret lies not in controlling external events, but in cultivating your internal ecosystem. Your emotional tone is the tuning fork that aligns unseen energies, orchestrating experiences that mirror your deepest vibrations. Practice. Choose one sincere positive feeling today and nurture it like a candle's flame. Allow gratitude or joy to tint each action until reality adjusts its colors accordingly. Choose one genuine positive feeling: gratitude, relief, curiosity, affection, hope, and treat it as something living rather than fleeting. Instead of waiting for a perfect moment to feel it more strongly, give it attention through ordinary actions. While drinking water, replying to someone, stepping outside, or finishing a task. Small moments become carriers of emotion when awareness is placed inside them. A candle stays lit, not because the wind disappears, but because it is sheltered. In the same way, positive feelings often need protection from constant distraction, self-criticism, or urgency. If joy appears for a few seconds, remain with it a little longer. If gratitude surfaces, name specifically what created it. Attention can deepen an emotion that would otherwise pass unnoticed. As the day continues, observe whether your interpretation of events shifts. Reality may not change immediately, but the lens through which it is experienced often does. A calmer response, a softer judgment, or an unexpected appreciation can alter the atmosphere around you, subtly changing the colors of the day from within. Chapter 8. Invisible Architecture. In the silent spaces between doubt and belief, you stand at the threshold of creation's most profound mystery. The universe listens not to your words, but to the vibration of your inner vision. Elsie Bowman's journey illuminates a fundamental truth that echoes through the chambers of manifestation. Proof is not the predecessor of belief, but its consequence. Elsie had always been a woman of measured steps, demanding tangible evidence before committing her trust. Spreadsheets and calculations were her companions, skepticism her shield against disappointment. Yet life had a gentle way of teaching her that the most powerful forces operate beyond the realm of immediate proof. One autumn morning, while sorting through old family photographs, she paused at an image of her grandfather's workshop, a humble space where imagination transformed raw materials into intricate wooden masterpieces. Something stirred within her. What if belief itself was the first material, more fundamental than wood or metal? Her grandfather had never doubted. He would sketch a design, his hands moving with certainty, his mind already inhabiting the finished creation before the first cut was made. His belief wasn't wishful thinking. It was a form of seeing that preceded physical manifestation. Chester Ward's story echoed this wisdom. An aspiring artisan with empty pockets but a heart full of vision, he meticulously drew plans for a dream workshop. Each line on his blueprint was drawn not with hope, but with the quiet certainty of inevitable creation. He didn't wait for resources. He designed as though they were already present. Weeks passed. Unexpected opportunities began to appear. a discarded workbench from a retiring carpenter, tools gifted by a distant relative, a small inheritance that covered initial expenses. The universe responded to Chester's unwavering vision, assembling the pieces of his dream like a complex puzzle guided by an invisible hand. You are no different. Your imagination is not a child's playground of fantasy, but the architect's sacred drawing board. Every detail you hold with conviction begins its journey into physical form. The key is not just to imagine, but to feel the reality of your vision with such completeness that doubt cannot find a foothold. Your belief is the currency that purchases possibility. Not money, not connections, not external validation, but the pure, unshakable frequency of your inner vision. Practice. Sketch mentally the life you desire with detail and affection. Trust unseen construction is underway. Treat imagination as architecture rather than fantasy. The universe builds from your belief's drawing. Chapter 9. The Alchemy of Words. In the quiet corners of her modest apartment, Ivy Douglas discovered a truth that would reshape her entire perception of reality. Each word she uttered carried a vibrational weight, much like an invisible paintbrush stroking the canvas of her existence. When frustration escaped her lips, the world seemed to darken, heavy with unspoken burdens. Conversely, moments of genuine appreciation brought a lightness that danced through her circumstances. You might not realize the profound power residing in your spoken words. Language is not merely a tool of communication, but a transformative energy that sculpts the very fabric of your experience. Each phrase you release into the world carries an energetic signature, a frequency that the universe listens to with unwavering attention. Franklin Snow's journey illuminated this principle with remarkable clarity. A man once trapped in the quicksand of perpetual criticism, he began an experiment of radical kindness. At first, his blessings felt awkward, like ill-fitting clothing. He would catch himself mid-complaint and consciously redirect his language, offering gratitude where judgment once lived. Initially, Franklin felt foolish. Speaking kindness when circumstances seemed bleak felt like whispering hope into a storm. Yet, something remarkable began to unfold. Synchronicities emerged, unexpected connections, spontaneous opportunities, gentle interventions that seemed to arise from the very atmosphere he was creating with his words. The universe responds not to the literal content of your speech, but to the emotional resonance beneath your words. When you speak, you are not simply describing reality. You are actively constructing it. Your language is an alchemical tool, transforming inner emotional states into external experiences. Imagine your words as living entities, each carrying the potential to nurture or diminish, to open pathways or erect barriers. The law of attraction teaches that your speech is a direct transmission of your inner landscape. What you consistently vocalize, you inevitably magnetize. This is not about forced positivity or denying challenging emotions. Instead, it is about conscious articulation, understanding that your words are sacred instruments of creation. When you speak with genuine appreciation, you align yourself with the generative forces of the universe. Practice. Speak as if your words are paint upon the day. Let only tones of appreciation color your phrases, and watch the atmosphere reflect the hue of your language. Words often shape more than communication. They influence mood, memory, and the emotional space shared with others. Speaking with appreciation does not require ignoring difficulty or pretending everything is pleasant. It means choosing language that notices effort, beauty, kindness, or possibility alongside imperfections. A simple acknowledgement can shift an interaction more than criticism delivered out of habit. Imagine each sentence leaving a trace behind, like color brushed across a room. Expressions of thanks, encouragement, patience, or genuine recognition can soften tension and make ordinary exchanges feel more human. Appreciation is not only directed outward, it can also appear in the way you speak to yourself while making mistakes, working, or resting. As the day unfolds, pay attention to whether your surroundings respond differently. People may become warmer, conversations may open, or your own inner atmosphere may feel lighter. The environment does not always mirror language immediately, yet repeated tones create patterns, and patterns slowly influence the world they move through. Chapter 10. The Power of Interest. In the dance of creation, you are both the dancer and the music. Your enthusiasm is not a luxury, but the very breath that animates your desires. Olive Kent learned this truth when her dreams began to fade, like watercolors losing their vibrancy under a dim sky. She had once burned with passion for her art, her brushstrokes alive with possibility. But gradually the world's monotony crept in, dulling her vision. Her canvases grew silent, her inspiration withering like a plant forgotten by sunlight. Each day became a repetition, her original dream now a distant memory barely whispering beneath layers of routine. The universe speaks through your excitement. When passion retreats, manifestation follows. Your interest is the sacred water that nourishes the seeds of your intentions. Without it, even the most beautiful dreams become dormant, waiting for the spark of genuine wonder to resurrect them. Vernon Tate understood this mystical principle differently. Where others sought grand transformations, he found magic in microscopic movements. His enthusiasm wasn't a thunderous declaration, but a steady, quiet flame. Each small action carried the energy of complete commitment. When Vernon decided to learn woodworking, he didn't just dream of magnificent furniture. He celebrated each careful measurement, each precise cut. His hands moved with reverence, transforming simple wood into living art. His joy wasn't in the final product, but in the process itself, and this very attitude multiplied his skills exponentially. The hidden wisdom reveals that fascination is your truest currency. Boredom is not a state, but a signal, a message from your inner self that you've disconnected from your original intention. Your passion is not something external to acquire, but an internal flame waiting to be rekindled. The universe responds to your emotional tone. When you approach your goals with mechanical obligation, they become heavy, resistant. But when you infuse them with genuine curiosity, with childlike wonder, they begin to flow toward you with unexpected grace. Your excitement is not frivolous. It is the quantum language through which creation communicates. It is the bridge between imagination and physical reality, the alchemical process that transforms thought into tangible experience. Reawaken fascination. Recall why you first desired what you seek. Talk about it with wonder rather than obligation, and allow renewed energy to summon matching events. Part 2. The Hidden Mirror Revealed. Chapter 11. The Permission Slip. In the quiet corners of her small apartment, Greta Rhodes stood frozen between possibility and permission. Years of waiting for external validation had painted invisible chains around her deepest aspirations. The universe whispers its most profound teachings not through thunderous declarations, but through gentle revelations that emerge when you release the need for others' approval. Greta's life had been a careful negotiation, each dream first submitted for review, by family, by colleagues, by the silent judges in her mind. She would sketch an idea, then immediately wonder, would they understand? Would they approve? Would they see value where she saw potential? These questions were not mere thoughts, but energetic barriers that kept her dreams suspended in a realm between imagination and manifestation. The universal law of creation does not recognize external permission. It responds only to your internal frequency, your genuine belief, your unquestioned certainty. Every time you seek validation outside yourself, you broadcast a signal of doubt. And the universe, ever precise in its mirroring, reflects that uncertainty back to you. Curtis Lake represented a different blueprint of being. Where Greta hesitated, Curtis moved. He understood that self-granted authority was the only true permission slip in the universe's intricate dance of creation. His dreams were not carefully negotiated. They were boldly declared, spoken with a tone of inevitability that left no room for questioning. When Curtis decided to launch his innovative community learning platform, he did not ask for consent. He did not seek endless approvals or wait for perfect conditions. He moved with an inner knowing that his vision carried its own momentum. And remarkably, as he stepped forward with unwavering confidence, the world began aligning. Investors appeared. Technology solved seemingly impossible challenges, and collaborators emerged as if summoned by his conviction. Your dreams are not waiting rooms where you sit politely, hoping someone will validate your vision. They are living energies that pulse with potential, waiting for you to claim them fully. The moment you grant yourself permission is the moment creation begins its intricate work of manifestation. Imagine yourself standing at the threshold of your deepest desire. The only gate that matters is the one within your own consciousness. No external authority can grant or deny the dreams that live in your heart. Practice. Whisper inwardly, "I allow myself." Let that phrase dissolve resistance. Acting as your own permission becomes an open signal the universe immediately obeys. The inward phrase, "I allow myself," can work as a quiet opening rather than a demand for transformation. Repeating it before a difficult task, a moment of rest, or an honest feeling may loosen the habit of waiting for external permission. I allow myself to pause. I allow myself to try. I allow myself to change my mind. The sentence shifts attention from restriction toward possibility. Resistance is not always an obstacle to destroy. Sometimes it is caution, fear, or old protection. Meeting it with permission instead of force can create a different movement forward. When you grant yourself space to feel, begin, fail, or enjoy something without justification, decisions may become less tense and more sincere. Notice throughout the day where you instinctively withhold permission from speaking, creating, resting, appreciating, or hoping. Returning to that inward whisper may not instantly reshape the world, but it can reshape your relationship with your own choices. That change often influences what becomes reachable afterward. Chapter 12. The Blessed Disruption. In the intricate dance of life, you stand at the threshold of understanding that what appears as loss is often the universe's most precise navigation system. Every closed door, every seemingly abrupt ending, carries within it the seeds of a greater beginning, a truth Sophie Pratt would soon discover in her own remarkable journey. Sophie had built her career with meticulous care, believing stability meant holding on to something tightly. When the unexpected arrived, a sudden termination that felt like a harsh wind dismantling her carefully constructed world, her initial reaction was pure terror. Panic whispered stories of inadequacy, of failure, of a future suddenly uncertain. Yet beneath the initial shock, a subtle wisdom began to emerge. The universe does not create vacuums without purpose. Each ending is a carefully orchestrated redirect, a compassionate nudge toward paths you might not have seen while clinging to familiar territories. As Sophie sat in the quiet aftermath of her professional upheaval, she began to remember her deeper dreams, the aspirations she had softly whispered to herself during late nights and quiet mornings. The career she had accepted was not the vision her soul had always known was possible. The law of attraction reveals that what seems like destruction is often careful reconstruction. Your external world constantly mirrors your internal frequency, and sometimes that mirroring requires dramatic shifts to align you with your truest path. Dean Wells understood this principle intimately. When opportunities closed, he did not mourn, but instead expressed gratitude. "Thank you," he would say to the universe, "for guiding me precisely where I need to be." His attitude transformed potential disappointment into an open invitation for something more aligned. Your perception creates your reality. When you view disruption as redirection rather than punishment, you unlock a powerful energetic transmission. The universe responds not to your words, but to the underlying emotional tone, and gratitude is the highest frequency of reception. Contrast exists not to harm you, but to clarify your desires. Each challenge is a refined compass, pointing you toward expansive possibilities you could not have seen from your previous vantage point. Loss is not an end point, but a sacred threshold of transformation. When disruption visits, pause and say, "This is redirection, not rejection." Feel safe within uncertainty until clarity arrives softly behind it. Practice. When disruption visits, pause and say, "This is redirection, not rejection." Feel safe within uncertainty until clarity arrives softly behind it. Chapter 13. The Secret Emotion. In the quiet landscape of inner transformation, you stand at the threshold of understanding that manifestation is not a mental exercise, but an emotional journey. Cora Hyde's revelation illuminates a profound truth. Visualization is not merely about creating static mental images, but about generating a vibrational resonance so powerful that reality cannot help but align with your inner state. Cora once believed manifestation was a technical process, a precise arrangement of thoughts and mental pictures. She would carefully construct detailed mental scenes, meticulously placing each element like an architect designing a blueprint. Yet her creations remained lifeless, distant, unrealized. The turning point came when she realized that thoughts without emotional charge are like seeds without water, inert and unable to sprout. Emotion, she discovered, was the living essence that breathes life into desire. It is the magnetic field that transforms passive wishes into active creation. Your inner landscape operates on feeling, not logic. When you truly feel the reality of your desire, not just imagine it, but embody its essence, you create a powerful energetic signal that the universe cannot ignore. This is not wishful thinking, but a profound understanding of how energy communicates. Ralph Boone's journey reflected a common struggle. He would attempt to visualize success, yet an underlying current of fear continued to ripple through his emotional field. His manifestations remained sluggish, hindered by the subtle vibration of doubt that permeated his practice. The critical insight is this: genuine feeling invites genuine manifestation. Simulation is not enough. You must cultivate an authentic emotional state that resonates with your desired outcome. This means moving beyond mental constructs and into a space of pure, unfiltered emotional experience. When you align your inner emotional frequency with your deepest desires, you create a powerful attractor field. The universe does not respond to your thoughts. It responds to your feeling tone, the energetic signature you broadcast moment by moment. Your emotions are not random occurrences, but deliberate choices. By consciously choosing and cultivating feelings of certainty, joy, and fulfillment, you become an active architect of your reality. Each emotion is a brushstroke on the canvas of creation, painting the landscape of your experience. The practice that follows is a gateway to this transformative understanding. Practice. Conjure the feeling of having your wish fulfilled now. Sit in that emotional movie for 1 minute daily, marinating reality with certainty. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Gift of Not Knowing. In the quiet corners of her meticulously organized life, Effie Crane had always believed that control was the ultimate shield against uncertainty. Her days were structured, her plans precise, her expectations carefully mapped like intricate architectural blueprints. Every moment was calculated, every decision weighed with mathematical precision. Yet the universe whispers its wisdom through the cracks of our most rigid constructions. For Effie, the transformation began not with a thunderous revelation, but with a subtle understanding that mystery carries more potential than certainty. She remembered the day everything shifted. A project she had planned for months suddenly unraveled, not in failure, but in an unexpected orchestration far more elegant than her original design. Where once she would have panicked, she found herself watching with a newfound curiosity. The hidden teaching emerged. Control is an illusion that suffocates potential. By gripping too tightly, you restrict the universe's infinite pathways of manifestation. True creation requires a delicate balance between intention and surrender. Across town, Clyde Barr embodied this principle with a different story. A veteran engineer accustomed to solving problems through linear thinking, he discovered that his most breakthrough solutions emerged not through force, but through genuine curiosity. Where rigid methodologies once dominated his approach, Clyde began embracing the unknown. He learned to ask questions without demanding immediate answers, to sit with uncertainty as a companion rather than an adversary. His projects began transforming, not through harder work, but through more expansive wondering. The universal law became clear. Sincere curiosity is the alchemy that transforms confusion into revelation. When you release the need to control every outcome, you open doorways to solutions more magnificent than your limited imagination could design. Your inner landscape determines your outer experience. Anxiety contracts, but curiosity expands. Fear narrows perception, while wonder illuminates infinite possibilities. The moment you shift from demanding answers to being genuinely interested in how life might unfold, magic enters. This is not about passive acceptance, but active, engaged openness. You are not a victim of circumstances, but a co-creator, dancing with the universe's mysterious rhythms. Whenever confusion arises, smile and say, "I am curious how beautifully this unfolds." Turn anxiety into curiosity and watch wonder replace fear. Chapter 15. The Circle of Giving. In the quiet landscape of human experience, you stand at the threshold of understanding a profound truth. Abundance flows not through hoarding, but through generous circulation. Ruby Long's journey illuminates this universal principle, revealing how the energy of giving creates invisible currents of prosperity. For decades, Ruby had watched her dreams of abundance remain just beyond her grasp. She clutched her resources tightly, believing scarcity was a protective shield. Yet the universe whispers a different wisdom. That generosity is the true key to unlocking abundance's hidden doorways. One autumn morning, Ruby decided to shift her approach. She began with small acts, sharing her homemade bread with a neighbor, offering her gardening tools to a struggling community member, sending unexpected notes of encouragement. Each gesture felt like releasing a tiny seed into fertile ground, not knowing what might grow. As weeks passed, something remarkable occurred. The world around Ruby seemed to soften. Opportunities appeared where barriers once stood. Her hesitant generosity transformed into a confident flow, like a river finding its natural course. She discovered that giving was not about sacrifice, but about participating in life's grand exchange. Later, Oscar Priest would echo a similar revelation. A successful businessman who had once measured every interaction through transactional lenses, Oscar learned to offer his most precious resource, time, without expectation. He mentored young entrepreneurs, volunteered at local centers, and shared knowledge freely. To his surprise, time itself seemed to expand. Projects completed with greater ease, connections formed more naturally, and his own work gained unexpected momentum. Oscar realized that generosity was not a mathematical equation of loss and gain, but a mysterious dance of energy circulation. The universal law reveals itself not through complex strategies, but through the simple act of trusting life's interconnected nature. When you give without calculation, you signal to the universe that you believe in abundance's infinite nature. Practice. Offer one act of kindness today with no expectation. Feel joy of circulation returning unseen yet certain. Choose a gesture that comes from genuine care, not for recognition, but from authentic connection. Perhaps it's helping someone carry groceries, listening fully to a friend's story, or sending an encouraging message. Let the action flow from your heart's natural generosity, without tracking its return. As you perform this act, breathe into the feeling of pure giving. Notice how releasing expectations creates a lightness within you. Trust that your kindness enters the world's mysterious network, where energy always finds its way back, often in forms you cannot predict. Chapter 16. The Soft Command. In the landscape of human potential, you stand at the threshold of understanding a profound truth, the power of quiet conviction. Sadie Cross represents countless souls who whisper their dreams tentatively, believing that uncertainty is a shield against disappointment. Her journey begins in a small apartment, where affirmations emerged as fragile breath against the walls of doubt. Initially, Sadie's intentions were like delicate threads, easily unraveled by the slightest breeze of skepticism. She would murmur her desires, a promotion, healing, love, but her voice trembled, revealing the deep-rooted fear that lurked beneath her words. The universal law of attraction does not respond to volume, but to vibration. Your inner tone matters more than the sound of your voice. When Sadie first learned this, it was as if a veil lifted from her understanding. Certainty is not about being loud. It's about being unwaveringly present. Arthur Flynn embodied this principle differently. A businessman who had weathered multiple challenges, he understood that conviction was an internal state, not an external performance. When he set an intention, he did so with the quiet assurance of someone who knew the universe was already aligning with his vision. Arthur's approach was like a stone dropped into still water, silent, yet creating ripples that transformed everything around him. He didn't argue with possibility. He simply knew. His inner dialogue was not a debate, but a calm declaration. This is happening, he would think, and then release the thought without anxiety. Your beliefs are the blueprint the universe follows. Every doubt is a revision to that blueprint. Every certainty, a clear instruction. Sadie and Arthur represent two approaches to manifestation, one hesitant, one resolute. But both carry an essential truth. Your inner world constructs your outer experience. The difference between wishing and knowing is profound. Wishing hopes something might happen. Knowing understands it is already in motion. This is not arrogance, but alignment. You are not demanding from the universe. You are participating with it. Practice. Whenever you state an intention, feel the calm strength of inevitability in your body. Confidence whispers, yet moves mountains unseen. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Speak your intention not as a question, but as a simple statement. Feel the words settle in your body like a warm, steady light. Notice how certainty feels different from hope. It is peaceful, grounded, unshakable. Chapter 17. The Art of Remembering Joy. In the tapestry of life's grand design, you have forgotten the most potent magic, the unbridled joy that once danced effortlessly through your childhood. Lottie Sears stood at the crossroads of remembrance, her adult world draped in layers of complexity, obscuring the simple brilliance of pure delight. She recalled how, as a child, happiness wasn't a destination, but a continuous state of being. Laughter bubbled from her without reason. Curiosity sparkled in her eyes, and the world seemed alive with wonder. Somewhere between childhood and adulthood, that sacred connection had been slowly buried beneath responsibilities, expectations, and the heavy cloak of seriousness. The universe whispers its deepest secrets through joy. When you return to that childlike state of spontaneous happiness, you unlock a frequency that transforms reality faster than any calculated strategy. Joy is not a reward. It is a signal of your inherent connection to the creative force of existence. Gordon Frost understood this profound truth. Each morning, he began with intentional laughter, sometimes forced, sometimes genuine, but always deliberate. He would stand before his mirror and laugh, first awkwardly, then with growing authenticity. Within weeks, synchronicities began appearing like delicate threads weaving through his days. Opportunities arrived unexpectedly, conversations turned magical, and the world seemed to dance in rhythm with his inner melody. Your manifestation power resides not in serious contemplation, but in the lightness of being. When you approach life with the wonder of a child, you dismantle the rigid structures of doubt. Joy is the language the universe understands most fluently. It is a frequency that dissolves resistance, melts barriers, and invites miracles with effortless grace. Remember, you are not here to struggle but to play. Each moment carries the potential for transformation when approached with a heart unburdened by past limitations. Your natural state is one of expansion, of delight, of infinite possibility. Practice. Engage in one joyful act without purpose other than pleasure. Joy signals openness. Openness summons blessing. Chapter 18. The Hidden Partnership. In the quiet corners of her solitary existence, Agnes Boyd had long believed that loneliness was her inheritance. Her days passed like whispers against window panes, soft, unheard, seemingly inconsequential. Yet the universe holds no space for true isolation, a truth Agnes would soon discover. The turning point emerged not with a thunderous revelation, but with a gentle understanding that no desire springs forth in true solitude. Every wish, every longing is a co-creation, a delicate dance between your inner landscape and the vast, responsive intelligence of the cosmos. Agnes began to notice the subtle ways life was already participating with her. A random conversation that echoed her unspoken thoughts. An unexpected kindness from a stranger. Small synchronicities that suggested she was never truly alone, but intricately connected to an intelligent, responsive system. Perry Watts walked a similar path, but with a different approach. He transformed his relationship with life by engaging in what he called gratitude conversations. Before any outcome materialized, he would thank the universe as though the blessing had already arrived. His words were not desperate pleas, but confident declarations of partnership. "Thank you for guiding me," Perry would whisper. "Thank you for the solutions already in motion." And remarkably, unseen allies began to align. Opportunities emerged, connections sparked, pathways cleared. The hidden teaching crystallized. You are never creating in isolation. The universe listens, responds, and co-creates with every genuine emotion, every sincere intention. Your desires are not solitary seeds, but collaborative blooms nurtured by an intelligent, responsive energy. For Agnes, this meant reimagining her relationship with life itself, no longer a passive recipient, but an active, beloved partner in an ongoing creative dialogue. Practice. Speak to life as to a beloved partner. Express appreciation before each outcome. Notice cooperative evidence arrive. Stand before a mirror or sit in quiet reflection. Address life directly. I appreciate how you are orchestrating my highest good. I trust in our partnership. Thank you for the solutions already unfolding. Hold this energy of gratitude, of certainty, and observe how life begins to converse with you. Chapter 19. The Unwritten Script. In the quiet landscape of your inner world, reality is not a fixed terrain but a malleable canvas waiting for your conscious touch. You are not merely a wanderer through life, but its primary architect, constantly editing the script of your experience through the subtle power of perception. Hattie Briggs once believed her path was etched in stone, predetermined by circumstances beyond her control. She moved through years accepting what appeared, believing fate was an immovable force that dictated her journey. Her world was a narrow corridor of limited possibilities, each turn seemingly chosen for her rather than by her. But the universe whispers differently. It reveals that consciousness is the true author of experience, continuously rewriting narratives moment by moment. Your thoughts are not passive observations, but active creators of reality. Each inner dialogue, each emotional tone, each silent belief sends ripples through the invisible fabric of existence, reshaping what appears possible. Melvin Rhodes discovered this transformative secret when he began intentionally rewriting his inner narrative. Years of despair had painted his world in muted, restrictive colors. He had grown accustomed to seeing obstacles where opportunities could bloom. But something within him awakened, a remembrance that he was not bound by his previous stories. With careful attention, Melvin started observing his internal dialogue. He caught the habitual complaints, the automatic narratives of limitation. Instead of allowing these old scripts to run unchallenged, he began consciously replacing them. Each time a thought of struggle arose, he would pause and intentionally craft a narrative of possibility. I am stuck became I am learning and growing. This is too difficult, transformed into I have the resources to navigate this. Nothing ever works out for me, shifted to I am creating my path with wisdom and grace. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, his external world began to mirror these internal rewrites. Opportunities that once seemed invisible now appeared. Connections emerged where before there had been only isolation. His energy shifted from contraction to expansion, from victimhood to creative agency. The universal law operates with precision. Your consciousness is the primary creative force. What you consistently think, feel, and believe does not just describe your reality, it literally constructs it. You are not observing life, you are generating it through your inner frequency. Practice. Observe internal narration. Replace complaint with creation. Say, I choose a new line whenever an old story arises. Chapter 20. The Forgotten Language. In the quiet corners of her existence, Faye Harmon had long wandered through life's noise, hearing everything yet understanding nothing. Her mind was a cluttered marketplace of thoughts, expectations, and constant chatter that drowned out the whispers of deeper wisdom. One unremarkable afternoon, during a moment of unexpected stillness, something shifted within her. As she sat quietly, breath moving gently through her body, she discovered a profound truth. Communication transcends words. The universe speaks in vibrations, in silent pulses of energy that dance between thought and feeling. Meditation became Faye's gateway to understanding this wordless language. She learned that listening was not about hearing with ears, but sensing with the entire being. Each breath became an invitation, each moment of silence a conversation with the unseen currents of existence. Raymond Kerr's journey paralleled hers, though his path was marked by deliberate practice. Where others saw meditation as a task, he approached it as a sacred dialogue. He would sit in silent presence, not demanding answers, but simply being available to receive. His practice was not about achieving something, but about becoming a clear vessel. Those around Raymond began to notice a transformation. They spoke of a subtle radiance that seemed to emanate from him. Not a physical glow, but an inner luminescence that spoke of deep peace. Colleagues would comment on his calm demeanor, on how problems seemed to dissolve around him without struggle. The hidden teaching revealed itself slowly. True communication happens in the spaces between thoughts, in the quantum realm where intention and receptivity dance. Your inner silence is not emptiness, but a profound listening, a state where you are simultaneously the receiver and the message. The universe communicates constantly, but most humans are too busy talking to hear its whispers. Your thoughts are like ripples on a pond, while true wisdom resides in the depths beneath. When you learn to be still, to truly listen, you align with the intelligence far beyond human comprehension. Raymond's daily practice of silent presence became his most powerful tool. He discovered that by emptying himself of constant mental commentary, he created space for intuitive guidance to flow. Insights would arrive not as loud proclamations, but as gentle knowings, subtle understandings that emerged from the quiet. Practice. Spend minutes daily listening instead of asking. Silence translates divine conversation faster than speech. Part 3. The Mastery of Allowing. Chapter 21. The Freedom of Faith. In the silent landscape of human potential, you stand at the precipice of understanding a profound truth. Fear is not your natural state, but a learned response that obscures your inherent power. Opal Finch discovered this when her world trembled with uncertainty, threatening to collapse beneath her wavering beliefs. Opal had always viewed faith as a fragile construct, something delicate that could shatter with the slightest pressure of circumstance. She lived braced against potential failure, her muscles perpetually tense, her mind constantly scanning for threats. Each setback seemed to confirm her deepest suspicions that life was a series of unpredictable challenges designed to test her inadequacies. Yet, in a moment of unexpected clarity, Opal realized that faith was not about guaranteeing specific outcomes, but about trusting the invisible currents that guide your journey. She understood that fear constricts, while faith expands. Her transformation began not with grand gestures, but with small, gentle surrenders. Harold Crane's story echoed this wisdom. Facing a situation that would have previously paralyzed him with terror, Harold discovered a remarkable inner stillness. When danger approached, instead of contracting with fear, he remained calm. Not through denial, but through a profound trust in life's inherent intelligence. The universe, you must understand, responds to your energetic signature. When Harold maintained his composure, something extraordinary happened. Protection seemed to materialize around him, not as a miraculous intervention, but as a natural consequence of his centered state. Threats that once would have overwhelmed him now seemed to dissolve, redirected by the quiet strength of his faith. This is the hidden mechanism of faith. It does not fight against uncertainty, but harmonizes with it. Faith is not about controlling outcomes, but about trusting the flow. It generates a frequency that subtly reshapes probability, guiding circumstances toward resolution. Your belief acts as a lens through which reality is filtered. When you shift from fear to trust, you alter the very fabric of potential. Each moment of calm certainty sends ripples through the quantum field, inviting supportive synchronicities. Practice. Choose one anxious thought and overlay it with quiet trust, repeating, "I am carried." Faith becomes your unseen parachute. Chapter 22. The Ease of Being. In the subtle dance of life's rhythms, you often mistake strain for progress and exhaustion for dedication. Irene Pope had woven this misunderstanding into the very fabric of her existence, believing that rest was a luxury reserved for the weak and unambitious. Her days were a ceaseless cascade of tasks, each moment filled with relentless doing, her body a machine programmed to produce without pause. Yet the universe whispers its wisdom through unexpected channels. For Irene, this revelation came not through grand epiphany, but through quiet moments of unexpected surrender. She discovered, almost by accident, that relaxation was not an indulgence, but a powerful alignment with the natural flow of creation. As she began to allow herself moments of stillness, something profound shifted. Her productivity did not diminish, as she had feared, but instead transformed. Ideas flowed with greater clarity, solutions emerged without struggle, and her energy became a more potent, focused stream. Norman Webb walked a similar path. A driven entrepreneur, he had long believed that success demanded constant motion, that ambition was measured by hours worked and tasks completed. But when he consciously chose to slow down, to breathe between actions and create space for reflection, his world began to change. His creativity, once constrained by rigid schedules and relentless doing, now blossomed. Projects that once felt like battles became collaborative dances. Insights arrived not through force but through gentle invitation. Norman realized that true mastery is not about controlling every moment, but about creating the conditions for inspiration to emerge. The hidden teaching reveals a fundamental truth. Ease is not the opposite of achievement, but its most powerful catalyst. When you align with a state of calm receptivity, you signal to the universe that you trust its timing, its wisdom. You become a vessel of possibility rather than a desperate executor of plans. Your worth is not determined by how much you accomplish, but by the quality of your presence. Each moment of rest is not a subtraction from your potential, but an investment in your most authentic power. As you breathe, let tension melt. Abundance follows ease more faithfully than effort. Chapter 23. The Invisible Door. In the gentle rhythm of life's unfolding, you have been taught to believe that success demands relentless pursuit, that opportunity is a prey to be hunted down with fierce determination. Yet the universe whispers a different truth, one of effortless alignment and graceful reception. Lucy Harmon once lived by the old paradigm of constant striving. Her days were a marathon of chasing prospects, her nights filled with anxiety about missed chances. She believed that to achieve meant to exhaust herself in perpetual motion, mapping out strategies and pushing against the world's resistance. But life has a way of revealing its wisdom through unexpected moments. For Lucy, these moments arrived not through calculated plans, but through quiet surrenders. She began to notice how the most transformative opportunities emerged when she least expected them, during a chance conversation, a spontaneous detour, a moment of unexpected stillness. The hidden teaching crystallizes. Your energy is a magnet, not a weapon. When you cease fighting the current and instead float with trust, the river of life carries you to destinations more magnificent than any you could have forcefully mapped. Ellis Boyd understood this principle intimately. Where others saw obstacles, he cultivated a practice of deep appreciation. Each morning he would pause and express gratitude, not for what had arrived, but for the unseen potentials hovering just beyond perception. His appreciation became a language the universe understood, a frequency that attracted synchronicity. Gradually, Ellis discovered that gratitude is not passive waiting, but an active invitation. By acknowledging the abundance already present, he became a beacon for further abundance. Opportunities began to appear with an almost magical fluidity. Connections sparked, doors opened, and pathways revealed themselves without his desperate manipulation. The true mastery lies not in controlling every outcome, but in creating an internal environment so aligned with trust that miracles become your natural state of being. Your relaxation is not weakness, but a powerful signal of confidence in the universe's benevolence. Today, trust that doors appear where gratitude walks first. Walk through the invisible by believing before seeing. Practice. Today, trust that doors appear where gratitude walks first. Walk through the invisible by believing before seeing. Chapter 24. The Bridge of Forgiveness. You carry wounds like ancient artifacts, collecting dust in the hidden chambers of your heart. Each unresolved conflict becomes a weight, a silent barrier blocking the flow of life's infinite potential. Forgiveness is not about pardoning another's actions, but liberating yourself from the prison of past pain. Donna Wells understood this truth after years of carrying resentment like heavy luggage through life's journey. Her anger was a thick fog that obscured opportunities, dimmed her inner light, and kept her tethered to moments long past. She realized that holding on to hurt was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When Donna finally chose to release her burden, something miraculous occurred. The energy around her shifted, subtly at first, then dramatically. Opportunities she had never seen before began to emerge, as if her forgiveness had cleared an invisible pathway. Francis Blake witnessed a similar transformation. He discovered that writing heartfelt apologies could heal wounds on both sides of a conflict, not mere words on paper, but genuine expressions of understanding that transcended blame and reached into the realm of compassionate connection. Forgiveness, you must understand, is not about condoning harmful actions. It is an act of radical self-love, a vibrational cleansing that removes the debris of past hurts. When you forgive, you are not saying what happened was acceptable. You are declaring that you are no longer willing to be defined by that pain. The universe responds to your internal state with remarkable precision. Resentment creates barriers, while forgiveness opens invisible doors. Each time you choose release over resistance, you realign yourself with the flow of universal grace. Your healing is not dependent on the other person's acknowledgement or change. It springs from your own willingness to see beyond the immediate hurt, to recognize the shared humanity that connects all beings. When tension and pain no longer consume your energy, you become free to direct that same energy toward creation, joy, and possibility. Practice. Picture someone with whom tension lingers. Bless them silently, and feel your energy lighten as chains fall. Chapter 25. The Gentle Choice. In the tapestry of human experience, you are constantly weaving threads of choice, each moment a crossroads where inner harmony can transform external turbulence. Pearl Abbott discovered this profound truth during a season of intense personal challenge. When storms of conflict swirled around her, she realized that her internal state was not a victim of circumstances, but their very architect. Pearl's life had been a landscape of constant struggle, family disagreements, professional tensions, and personal setbacks that seemed to assault her from every direction. Yet something shifted when she understood that her emotional response was not a reaction, but a choice. In moments of potential argument, she began to consciously select peace. This was not about suppressing emotions or pretending difficulties did not exist. Instead, Pearl learned to breathe through tension, to recognize that her inner calm could be a sanctuary amidst external chaos. When her colleagues engaged in heated debates, she would internally smile, choosing understanding over defensiveness. When family conflicts threatened to unravel relationships, she practiced seeing beyond the immediate friction. Elmer Joyce embodied a similar wisdom. During business challenges that would have crushed others' spirits, he maintained an unwavering internal smile. His colleagues marveled at how opportunities seemed to follow his tranquil demeanor. Where others saw obstacles, Elmer saw opportunities for growth and transformation. The universal teaching here transcends individual stories. Your emotional state is not a response to life, but a creator of life's unfolding. Each moment presents a choice to contract or expand, to close or to open, to resist or to flow. These choices are not merely psychological exercises, but energetic broadcasts that reshape reality's very fabric. Your power lies in recognizing that every emotional state is a crossroads: anger or compassion, fear or trust, resistance or acceptance. These are not just feelings, but vibrational signals that the universe instantly begins to match and manifest. The law of attraction operates with precision, mirroring your internal frequency into external experience. When you consistently choose the lighter emotional path, you are not merely managing circumstances, you are choreographing them. Practice. Notice moods like crossroads and quietly pick the lighter road each time. Choices compound into destiny. Sit in quiet reflection. Observe your current emotional landscape without judgment. When you detect a heavy or contracting feeling, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what would the lightest version of this moment feel like? Then, consciously choose that lighter path, not through force, but through gentle redirection. Your choices are seeds. Each peaceful selection plants a potential for broader transformation. Chapter 26. The Sacred Ordinary. You stand at the threshold of transformation, where the most mundane moments hold the most sacred potential. Beatrice Mays once chased extraordinary experiences, believing enlightenment lived somewhere distant, in mountain retreats, silent monasteries, or exotic landscapes. Yet her greatest revelation arrived while folding laundry, when she suddenly understood that holiness is not a destination, but a way of perceiving. Her hands moving rhythmically across crisp fabric, she realized that every gesture could be a prayer, every repeated motion a meditation. The simple act of smoothing wrinkles became a communion with the present moment. her consciousness expanding beyond the physical task into a state of pure awareness. Later, Calvin Pratt discovered a similar truth while standing at his kitchen sink. What once seemed like a tedious chore of washing dishes transformed into a ritual of profound connection. He noticed the way soap bubbles caught light, how water flowed with elegant precision, how each plate carried stories of shared meals and human connection. Calvin began to approach his daily tasks with reverence, treating each movement as an opportunity for mindfulness. The repetitive motions of scrubbing and rinsing became a form of moving meditation. He observed the textures, the temperatures, the subtle dance of his hands against porcelain and metal. Awe was not something to be found in grand gestures, but in the intimate details of everyday life. Both Beatrice and Calvin discovered that transcendence is not about escaping the ordinary, but about fully inhabiting it. The sacred does not exist separately from the mundane. It is woven into every moment, waiting to be recognized. Your life is not a series of extraordinary events, punctuated by routine, but a continuous sacred experience, if you choose to perceive it as such. The universe speaks to you through the most humble of interactions. A gentle breeze, the warmth of sunlight, the rhythmic sound of your breath. These are whispers of divine presence. When you approach life with curiosity and reverence, even the most seemingly insignificant moments become portals of profound wisdom. Practice. Perform a daily task with sacred attention. Treat each motion as love in action. Presence transforms any act to prayer. Chapter 27. The Golden Memory. In the quiet corners of her mind, Della Rhodes had constructed an intricate museum of past hurts, each memory a carefully preserved artifact of pain. She would walk through these halls of remembrance, touching the cold glass of old wounds, reliving moments of rejection, disappointment, and sorrow as if they were living, breathing entities. One autumn morning, a whisper of wisdom drifted through her consciousness, a gentle revelation that memory is not a prison, but a garden. Some memories can poison the soil, while others can nurture new growth. Della realized that her persistent replay of painful moments was not remembering, but a form of self-imprisonment. The universe speaks in subtle languages, and for Della, this message arrived softly. She began to understand that memories are not fixed recordings, but malleable energies that can be transformed by intention and perspective. Each time she revisited a painful memory, she could choose to see it differently, not as a wound, but as a lesson, not as a limitation, but as a pathway to understanding. Later, Ira Quinn demonstrated this principle with remarkable grace. Each morning, he would deliberately select a memory of pure joy, a childhood laughter, a moment of unexpected kindness, a triumph of spirit. He would close his eyes and immerse himself fully in that memory's vibration, allowing its warmth to fill his present moment. Ira discovered something profound. Good fortune does not arrive by chance, but by resonance. By consistently tuning his inner frequency to memories of joy, he began to attract experiences that matched that emotional tone. Synchronicities increased, opportunities appeared, and his life began to reflect the same radiance he was cultivating internally. For Della and Ira, the revelation was clear. Memories are not just records of what happened, but active creators of what could happen. They are not chains that bind, but keys that can unlock new possibilities. Practice. Select a memory of joy and relive it vividly. Let that vibration rewrite your future echoes. Chapter 28. The Light Beyond Fear. In the quiet landscape of human experience, you carry within you an extraordinary power, the ability to transform what frightens you into what fortifies you. Cleo Marsh discovered this hidden truth when anxiety arrived not as an enemy, but as a messenger, seeking understanding. Her journey began in a moment of profound revelation, where once she would battle her anxious thoughts, creating internal warfare that exhausted her spirit. Cleo learned to sit with her fear. She realized that anxiety was not a monster to be vanquished, but a part of herself longing to be heard and held. When anxiety would rise, a trembling in her hands, a quickening of breath, she would pause. Instead of rejection, she would turn toward it with curious compassion. "What are you trying to tell me?" she would ask softly. In those moments of gentle inquiry, the anxiety would begin to soften, its sharp edges dissolving under the warmth of her understanding. Later, Boyd Ellis encountered a similar transformation. Public speaking had been his greatest terror, a scenario that would send waves of panic through his body. But instead of fighting the fear, he began to approach it differently. During presentations, he would acknowledge his nerves with kindness. "I see you," he would inwardly whisper to his anxiety. "You're here to protect me." Remarkably, this approach changed everything. His nerves, once a source of debilitating panic, became a wellspring of energy. The same trembling that once weakened him now charged his words with authenticity and passion. Audiences sensed not his fear, but his courage in facing it. The universal teaching emerged crystal clear. Fear is not your adversary, but a misunderstood ally. When approached with compassion, it transforms from a barrier to a bridge, connecting you to deeper self-understanding and inner strength. When fear appears, greet it with gentleness and gratitude. Fear is fragile once hugged by awareness. Practice. When fear appears, greet it with gentleness and gratitude. Fear is fragile once hugged by awareness. Chapter 29. The Symphony of Everything. In the swirling landscape of human experience, you stand at the threshold of a profound discovery, the hidden unity that breathes beneath apparent chaos. Nettie Bloom once viewed the world as a collection of disconnected fragments, each moment feeling like a scattered puzzle without a cohesive image. Her life seemed a series of random interruptions, a cacophony of unrelated events that appeared to resist any sense of harmony. But then, in a quiet moment of deep inner reflection, something shifted. As Nettie settled into meditation, she began to perceive a subtle rhythm underlying everything, a gentle pulse that connected seemingly disparate experiences. The traffic outside her window, the distant conversation of neighbors, the soft rustle of leaves, and the rhythm of her own breath started to reveal themselves not as separate sounds, but as different expressions of the same universal music. Wallace Green discovered a similar revelation during a typically chaotic city morning. Surrounded by honking horns, bustling pedestrians, and the mechanical sounds of urban life, he suddenly noticed something extraordinary. As he consciously synchronized his breath with the surrounding environment, the noise transformed. What once felt like discord now became a complex, interconnected symphony. The teaching here illuminates a profound truth. Separation is an illusion. Your perception creates the experience of fragmentation, but beneath this mental construct lies an intricate web of connection. Every sound, every movement, every breath participates in a grand, unified dance. The universe does not know separation. It knows only flow, only connection. When you truly listen, not just with your ears, but with your entire being, you begin to hear the underlying harmony. The traffic's rhythm, the wind's whisper, the heartbeat of the city, all become notes in a magnificent composition. Your breath becomes the conductor, your awareness the instrument through which this cosmic music is perceived. This understanding transcends mere philosophical concept. It is a lived experience, a way of perceiving that fundamentally transforms your relationship with the world. You are not separate from life. You are life experiencing itself through countless interconnected expressions. Practice. Listen to life's ambient sounds as music. Harmonize breath with everything around you until duality dissolves into one vast symphony. Chapter 30. The Hidden Secret Remembered. You stand at the threshold of remembrance, where the boundary between self and universe dissolves like mist before the morning sun. Lila Drake's journey illuminates a truth ancient as consciousness itself. Nothing is ever truly lost or separate. What you seek has always resided within you, waiting to be recognized. In the quiet moments between thought and sensation, you begin to understand that seeking is an illusion created by forgetting. Your essence is not something to be acquired, but a fundamental state of being to be remembered. Each breath carries the whisper of wholeness, each heartbeat a rhythm of connection that transcends individual experience. Lila discovered this not through extraordinary effort, but through a gentle surrender to what already existed. Her revelation came not as a thunderous insight, but as a soft recognition, like remembering a melody you've known since before memory began. The universe does not withhold, it perpetually reveals. Glenn White embodied this understanding with remarkable grace. Where he walked, tension dissolved. His mere presence became a transmission of peace, a silent reminder that harmony is not something to be chased, but something to be remembered. People near him would inexplicably feel lighter, their burdens softening without a word being spoken. The secret lies not in achieving a state of peace, but in recognizing that peace is your fundamental nature. You are not separate from the grand symphony of existence. You are the music itself. Every challenge, every moment of perceived struggle is simply a variation in the eternal composition of being. Your true identity is not confined by the limitations of thought or experience. You are the vast awareness in which all experiences arise, the boundless space of consciousness that contains everything, yet is attached to nothing. The mind may create stories of separation, but beneath these narratives, you remain whole, complete, unbroken. When you truly remember who you are, the world transforms, not because the external reality changes, but because your perception shifts. Challenges become opportunities for growth. Obstacles become pathways to deeper understanding. You move from resistance to radical acceptance. As the practice suggests, each dawn becomes an invitation to remember. Whisper softly, "I remember who I am." Let these words sink beyond mental understanding, into the very cells of your being. Feel yourself expand, merging with the creative principle that animates all of existence. Part 4. The Radiance Beyond Desire. Chapter 31. The Quiet Magnet. You stand at the threshold of a profound revelation, one that has whispered through the ages, yet remains hidden from those who chase instead of allowing. Your journey of manifestation is not about demanding, but about becoming. Nora Fields once believed that life was a battlefield of constant wishing, her desires like restless soldiers marching toward uncertain victories. She would spend hours visualizing, affirming, plotting, her mind a turbulent sea of expectation and anxiety. But wisdom arrived softly, like dawn breaking through midnight's veil. She discovered that her most miraculous moments emerged not from frantic pursuit, but from states of serene acceptance. When she released her grip on outcomes, life began to dance with her instead of against her. The universe, it seemed, responds not to noise, but to the quiet certainty of a heart at peace. The deeper teaching reveals a sacred truth. Attraction is not a war to be won, but a conversation to be listened to. Your desires mature when you transform them from desperate demands into calm expectations. Frenzied yearning scatters your energetic signal like static, while ease signals a profound readiness to receive. Lewis Hart's story illuminates this principle with stunning clarity. A man once consumed by ambition, he had chased success with such intensity that opportunities would scatter before him like startled birds. But when exhaustion finally forced him to surrender, something remarkable occurred. Every time Lewis stopped obsessing, stopped plotting, stopped forcing, life delivered precisely what he had once desperately pursued. His surrender became a refined form of magnetism, not weakness, but a profound strength of allowing. You are learning that manifestation is not about controlling the river, but about becoming so aligned with its natural flow that you move effortlessly with its current. Your inner state is the true architect of your external reality. Breathe into this understanding. Feel how peace is not passive, but a powerful signal of completeness. When you embody sufficiency, the universe cannot help but reflect that wholeness back to you. Practice. At the close of each day, sit within silence and feel gratitude for every breath without naming a single goal. That vibration of sufficiency performs its own work, drawing completion quietly while you sleep. Chapter 32. The Return to Play. In the quiet corners of your inner landscape, there lives a wisdom far more potent than solemnity, a vibrant, dancing energy that awakens creation through the pure resonance of joy. You have been taught that spiritual growth demands seriousness, that transformation occurs through intense contemplation and rigid discipline. But what if the universe speaks most fluently through laughter? Imagine Edith Snow, a woman who once believed spirituality was a somber journey of endless reflection and stern self-improvement. Her meditation cushions were weighted with unspoken expectations, her practices lined with an invisible tension that kept miracles at bay. She studied sacred texts with a furrow between her brows, believing enlightenment was earned through struggle. Then came the unexpected moment, a spontaneous burst of laughter that erupted from somewhere deep within her, dissolving years of accumulated spiritual seriousness. It began with a simple joke, a playful remembrance that caught her off guard, and suddenly the entire energy around her shifted. The universe, it seemed, had been waiting for this very frequency. Edith discovered that joy was not a distraction from spiritual growth, but its most direct pathway. Her intuition, long suppressed by heavy contemplation, began to dance. Insights arrived not through grueling meditation, but through moments of pure, unbridled delight. Similarly, Murray Cole rediscovered the magical realm of childhood play. He remembered the games that once made time dissolve, the spontaneous adventures that required no strategy, no goal, simply pure engagement. He began transforming ordinary evenings into playgrounds of energy, approaching life with the curiosity of a child who knows no limitations. Opportunities began to emerge not through calculated planning, but through the magnetic field of his playful existence. Murray understood that humor converts resistance to flow, that play transforms density to light. Each moment became an invitation, each interaction a potential for wonder. The universal principle reveals itself. Creation is not a serious business, but a dance. Your vibration matters more than your effort. Intensity blocks, lightness attracts. When you approach life with a sense of play, you signal to the universe that you are open, flexible, and ready to receive. Approach life as a playful experiment. Greet surprises with mischief instead of fear. The universe responds faster to a giggle than to a groan, and joy keeps creation flexible. Chapter 33. The Infinite Now. In the landscape of your inner world, time is not a linear path, but a fluid essence shaped by your perception. You have been taught to chase moments, to pursue futures that always seem just beyond reach. But what if the greatest revelation lies not in tomorrow's promise, but in the sacred geometry of now? Lucinda Graves understood this mystery after decades of searching. She had constructed elaborate plans, mapped intricate strategies for achieving enlightenment, believing awakening was a destination to be conquered. Her journals were filled with timelines, goals, and meticulously crafted roadmaps to spiritual success. Yet true wisdom arrived not through aggressive pursuit, but through a sudden, gentle surrender. One unremarkable afternoon, while preparing her next 5-year spiritual development plan, Lucinda paused. Her pencil hovered above pristine paper, and something shifted. She realized the map was not the territory. The seeking was obscuring the very thing she sought. In that moment of stillness, eternity revealed itself, not as a grand cosmic event, but as the quiet pulse beneath her breath. The universal teaching emerged with crystalline clarity. Time bends around emotion. Your feelings are not passengers in time's vehicle. They are the very engine driving reality's unfolding. When you feel complete, whole, present, time itself transforms, expanding and contracting in response to your inner state. Later, Amos Turner discovered this principle through intimate observation. Where once he rushed through days consumed by future ambitions, he began noticing life's delicate textures. The golden warmth spreading across his palm, the subtle percussion of footsteps against wooden floors, the intricate dance of dust motes in afternoon light. Each moment became a universe of sensation. His transformation was not dramatic, but profound. Anxious ambition dissolved, replaced by a timeless peace that required no effort to maintain. He understood that the present moment is not a waiting room for future experiences, but a complete landscape of potential, perpetually alive and responsive. Throughout the day, pause and inhale awareness. Whisper, "This is it." Realize that everything desired already flickers beneath now's surface. When you honor the instant, time expands to meet you with miracles unplanned. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The journey through remembering ends where it began, inside awareness itself. Nothing external ever withheld abundance. Only the habit of forgetting disguised it. Every character's story was your own reflection, teaching that struggle ceases when you stop fighting mirrors and begin smiling into them. The law is simple. Feel the truth of harmony before seeking its proof. The energy you practice becomes the environment you live in. We create not through effort, but through embodied emotion, through steady appreciation of what already is. The hidden secret was never concealed out of malice, but out of mercy, waiting until hearts could recognize it responsibly. You are the transmitter of all experience, and reality remains your devoted echo. Let gratitude be your language and love your currency. Live as though the universe is your oldest friend, because it is. And when you see another struggling, recognize your reflection and send silent light instead of sympathy born of pity. Creation expands through you endlessly, joyfully, forever remembering itself through the smile on your face.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.